first sight of the new Porsche GT3. Wow. I'm going to see if I can get in here, guys. Right, now there's quite a crowd round here, so I barge my way in here a little bit. Oh my goodness. Now, this is of particular interest to us because we're very keen to get hold of one of these if we possibly can. I think the Porsche dealers in the UK have been inundated with requests for the cars, and although my understanding is it's not actually going to be limited in terms of production, you're going to be hard pressed to get one. We're hoping. We didn't manage to get a 911, but this excites me even more. Same basic engine power as both the GT3 RS and the 911R. So we're talking about 500 HP. It's been bored out to 4 litre. Absolutely beautiful. Obviously it's bigger than the GT4, but we try to keep both if we can. Now, for the big news really on the GT3, apart from the hike in power and the added downforce and the reworked wing, is the fact that you can get this car in manual. Now, Andreas Proninja, who's the boss of the Weissach division, which is the GT Porsche division, always promised that the next GT3 would A, be non-turbo unit, so this car is naturally aspirated, and in a world of turbo units today, that has to be applauded. One questions whether this may well be the last GT3 that doesn't have a twin turbo unit, because as you know, all the other 911s now have twin turbos. Inside, very reminiscent of the last one. I think this car has Apple CarPlay, redesigned central unit. Okay, very, very similar driving environment to the GT3 RS that I was in, sorry, I didn't take film of it the other day, but we hope to have some footage of that car fairly soon. One thing I do like about the 911 is I like the additional dials. I think it just looks a bit more sophisticated than the GT4, which has the 3 dials here rather than the 5. Obviously got the 918 steering wheel, or design of steering wheel, similar to the GT4. But otherwise the inside is fairly similar to the GT3 RS. They've not changed what they don't need to change. So obviously this one has the PDK automated twin clutch gearbox, but you're able to have this car in manual as well for the first time, other than the very limited edition 911R, which was sold last year. This one also has the 918 racing seats, which are superbly comfortable. And there's quite a lot of room in the rear for throwing stuff in. I mean, I probably wouldn't have the Club Sport Pack, which gives you the roll bar. I think I'd leave it exactly as it is and use it on the road. Very nice.
Yeah, I love it.
A lot of interest being shown in this car. Slightly redesigned front end, as you can see, larger air intakes, especially the centre air intake is slightly larger than it was, and it seems to be very slightly squared off as well. Got the usual vent in the actual bumper itself to feed air to the heat exchangers that are actually right behind the bumper. Wheel design looks subtly different to the outgoing model. I might just jump in the passenger seat. get ourselves in that position whereby we're comfortable. Wow, these seats are fantastic. Very nice inside. I like it. Slightly different designed rear lights, and again a very subtly redesigned rear spoiler. There's not much to see in the engine compartment itself. What you do have, as you can see, that you have the two air intakes either side. This is definitely new. And the spoiler itself has been set slightly further back and slightly higher than the outgoing model. Naught to 60, I think, of 3.4, 3.5, and a top speed of 199 with the PDK box, and then manual, a little bit slower, 3.7 to 60, but it tops out at 200, the manual. And it does look like the manual's going to have a 6-speed system. I have a question.
Yes.
The manual version, which I know they've announced,
Yep.
is that going to be the 6-speed?
Yes.
Yes, okay, because I was terrified it was going to be the 7-speed, which I don't like. No, okay. So similar to the GT4 in some ways?
Similar, yeah.
Quite similar, yeah, because I mean the GT4 box is beautiful. It's the best, one of the best bits about the car, is the truth. It's absolutely fantastic.
I've driven both, they're both awesome.
Well, this is going to be faster, of course,
Sure.
but the thing about the GT4, because it's mid-engined,
Yeah.
the balance is beautiful. You can't get yourself into trouble with it, not really.
I mean, that's always the problem when you drive with that one. It's beautiful and everything, but on the racetrack it's really nervous.
You've had this on the racetrack?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
driving it. I'm doing a Porsche Super Cup.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, well done. Right, okay.
Yeah, and so...
And this is going to be, will you race these?
Yes, those are the new ones. And yeah, you feel it really in the corner. It's very nervous, especially when the tires are done. I mean, you drive with slicks, of course, but
Yes.
of course, when they are done, it's with every car it's difficult, but with that one it's really annoying. Like it's air sliding everywhere, and you really need to be gentle on the throttle and everything.
Is it running the something like the Michelin Cup 2s?
Yeah.
So the sort of semis, they're sort of semis. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, the Pilot Sport Cup 2s, yeah. I've got those on the GT4. You don't want to take them out in cold temperatures, and difficult to get heat into them. I suppose if you're on the racetrack, you might be able to, but I think on the road you never get heat into them.
It's funny when you're entering the track with cold, slick tires, and first couple of corners you're just going everywhere, but not near the track. It's really, you have to be very careful at the beginning, but once it has heat on it, it's very nice precise and everything. It's really gentle to drive.
So where would you, I mean, obviously this is the Cup is where you start, is it, in racing, or is it when do you go through to things like GT3 and GT4? Is that after, or are they two different series completely?
And they are two different series.
Right, okay.
Before I was doing Porsche Sports Cup in Germany.
Right.
And there I was driving with the Cayman.
Oh right, okay.
GT4.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah, and it was really, so it was just released then, so everything was quite new, and we had a lot of problems, but mostly it was really nice driving these cars. And then I made a step up. I went to Austin and tried out Super Cup.
Right.
And so I was driving with those.
Right.
And it's awesome. You feel the power and everything. It's just, yeah.
So where would you go in your career? Where would you go next? What would be the next logical step?
My target, there is actually not really a logical step. I mean, it could go everywhere, but what for me is the most important is to make a living out of it. So it doesn't mean to go in Formula 1 because that's just ridiculous. But just if I can do very well in those 2 years in the Cup that I want to do, then maybe I have the chance to maybe get a contract with Porsche or going to the DTM. You really have to be over the top, but that's what racing is about.
Is DTM the same series as Le Mans would be, or is that slightly different?
Yeah, the thing is in DTM everybody is just paid to do it, so most of the people. So if you're there, you're probably a driver from Mercedes or BMW or whatever. So this would be quite a good target. And if you see Pascal Wehrlein, I don't know.
Yes, I've heard the name.
He won the DTM, and then he could go to the Formula 1 because he was a Mercedes driver.
So there's a progression.
Yeah. It's not usual that you do that, but it's possible. I really want to. I don't want to spend money to do that.
No.
So that's the target. So I will see how the things are.
You want to be chosen for your ability, yes.
That's it. And it's a tough business.
And the trouble is, so many things can affect.
Yeah.
And I suppose they do tend to look at the times, don't they, as much as. So if you're a split second off, it can make the difference between a big offer and no offer at all, which is ridiculous, because on another day, you might have might have been a split second faster.
That's in the end what racing is all about. You really need to be on day X, you need to be there and on point and doing the best lap of your life.
Yes.
It's interesting, and you also get to know people very well, so it's also kind of a
like
lesson.
A family.
Yeah.
Big family.
And you also take lessons from it for life.
Yes.
Because some people really want to that bad things happen to you, or I've seen everything.
Guess what? We're back to the 911 GT3, latest version.